morning, everyone. My name is Chief Researcher Stedman. Researcher Slick could not be with us today due to issues with corporeality, so I'm here to give you a debrief about some of the lab equipment to the new hires / volunteers / D-class personnel. To your left is the eye washing station. To the right of that, the eye harming station. Please do not get them mixed up, as SCP Foundation is not liable for eye harm. Every 2 weeks we change the position of the eye washing and eye harming stations, so please mark your calendars. The positions also get shifted each half crescent moon. To your right are the bathrooms, and to the right of those are the room baths. And naturally, here is the break room. Now we have a standard Foundation break room, outfitted with what you are accustomed to, but please be mindful of the vending machine, itself an SCP. I'm sure Researcher Slick would have regaled you with a more interesting diatribe about the item, but I am not quite as interesting as she is. In lieu of this, I'll read the containment file. SCP-294, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. There are no standard special containment procedures on file for item SCP-294. However, only personnel of security clearance level 2 or higher are allowed to interact with it. See document SCP-294A provided in the manila envelope you were handed at the beginning of this tour. SCP-294 is currently being stored in the second floor personnel break room and is monitored by 2 guards of security level 3 at all times. Please say hi to Joseph and Josephine, our level 3 clearance guards. Description: Item SCP-294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents inside the machine, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, soda, non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in a liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass, and each one returned a success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed. However, as it appears SCP-294 can only deliver substances that can exist in a liquid state. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine will not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup seem to have no effect on the cups dispensed by the machine. Testing is ongoing. As suggested, SCP-294 was moved to the second floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture. Cheap bastards. Following Incident 29401, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary to interact with it. So many documents. Document SCP-294A regarding Incident 29401. On August 21, 2005, Agent Joseph attempted to use item SCP-294 to obtain coffee during his allotted break time at 9:30 a.m. Lucky bastard got an early break. At the request of Agent to see what it could do, requested a cup of Joe from the item. Moments after confirming the selection, Agent Joseph began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent into the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispensed by item SCP-294, a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. If I hear any giggling about bodily fluids, I will kill you. I'm allowed to. Thank you. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by SCP-294 matched that of Agent Joseph. Agent made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further signs of injury, and Joseph was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security measures for SCP-294 have been recommended. Addendum Scp-294f. After reviewing documentation of SCP-294, suggested testing SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. Do you guys want me to really read this, like, the whole thing? Okay, fine. Addendum Scp-294H. With the overseeing of O5, a cup of SCP-75 secretion was used as input. The product was proven to be the requested liquid, and the cup was able to successfully contain the material. However, the report for Incident 75-7 was acknowledged 2 hours after the test. See Addendum SCP-75-M. A containment procedure breach had already occurred exactly the same time this test was taking place, waking SCP-75 from its active stage. It was able to secrete an amount of basic solution equal to the capacity of a coffee cup before emergency containment procedure was applied and was rendered passive. The liquid was not found in the post-incident investigation. Researcher punched in a request for a cup of gold. The machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researcher requested similar precious materials with the same results. Addendum SCP-294J. Researcher punched in, from a safe range, a request for a cup of anti-water. The machine hummed briefly, then displayed out of range on entry pad. It is theorized that SCP-294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternate universes or dimensions. Addendum SCP-294K. Researcher punched in a request for diamond. SCP-294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on entry pad. SCP-294 gives this result for all solid substances. As diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon, it appears the machine will not dispense liquid carbon, as this does not result in a diamond. When cup of carbon was subsequently punched in, the machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. SCP-294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. Addendum SCP-294-M. Testing for range of SCP-294's capacity for retrieval has been initiated. A unique compound has been formulated, composed of undisclosed ratios of blank brand bleach, blank brand cola, Met-RX powder, and garam masala. The fluid was created and placed in a sealed container 25 meters away from SCP-294. When requested, the fluid was dispensed. An equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in this original container. I remember that day. I couldn't take my break that day because they were using the break room for their stupid fucking experiments. Addendum SCP-294-01. Researcher blank, under observation of a Level 4 personnel, keyed in a request for the best drink I've ever had. SCP-294 dispensed a fluid similar in appearance to cola. The researcher identified it as a mixed drink he recalls having at a bar during his bachelor party and was convinced it was the best drink. Blank did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how SCP-294 gathers information. Someone should actually edit this. It was just a Cuba Libre in the cup. Anyway. Addendum SCP-294-01A. God. Why do we name things like this? What is the point? Addendum SCP-294-0/01A. Under the same conditions, Agent the best drink I've ever had. SCP-294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as Vienna Lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on a beach. Was one of them. In his briefing, Agent confirmed that his favorite drink ever was Vienna Lager he consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that SCP-294 has the ability to directly gather information from someone's mind in order to comply with the given conditions. Addendum SCP-294-Q1. Subject keyed in the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, subject appeared to go into shock. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point everything's one big letdown." Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified. Rest in peace, Andy. Addendum SCP-294-T1. Subject keyed in something Cassie will like. The device was heard to hum for about 3 seconds before dispensing an empty cup. Printed on the side of the cup was an image of a traditional soda fountain glass filled with something brown and topped with whipped cream. Upon introduction to SCP-85, it was identified by her as a chocolate banana milkshake and judged delicious. Addendum SCP-294-W. Researcher keyed in a request for a cup of music. SCP-294 produced a clear, sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. Following ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm and demonstrated the ability to move and even dance with a certain fluidity that he had not previously shown. Testing on other abstract concepts is continuing. Addendum Scp-294-AB. During a mass security breach, Agent requested a cup of pertinent medical knowledge while taking shelter inside a second-floor break room. Of the 4 agents in the room, Agent was the only one who was not injured. SCP-294 poured a cup of clear green liquid. Following the ingestion of this substance, Agent began mending the other agents' wounds in a manner consistent with Foundation medical training. Agent no longer has the medical training that the liquid provided, and other attempts to recreate the effect have failed. The agent has speculated that this event was an emergency measure taken by the object to ensure self-preservation. Personally, I think he just drank some absinthe, but that's just me. Addendum SCP-294-AC. Dr. requested My Life Story from SCP-294. SCP-294 made humming noises and shook violently for approximately 3 minutes before providing a highly viscous, opaque black liquid. Upon consumption, Dr. reported that he remembered everything that ever happened to him. Following this test, Dr. entered his office and returned 48 hours later with a 538-page autobiography. He was then fucking fired because why would you write your biography at work, idiot? I would like to take this time to apologize for my coarse language during this procedure. Sorry. If you're really that offended, we have some amnestics for you in the other room. Addendum SCP-294-AD. Researcher-produced request consisting solely of the phrase, "Surprise me." Device poured an opaque cup consuming normal water, later determined to have been heated to approximately 200 degrees Celsius. Upon receiving a vibration from transport, the contents of the cup had turned into steam, violently spraying boiling water in a 2-meter radius. Okay, that one's pretty funny. Addendum SCP-294-AF. Researcher-produced request for Blood of Christ. SCP-294 vibrated and produced the message, Hic est einem calix sanguinis mei, then produced a paper drinking cup containing approximately 0.12 liters of red grape wine. Addendum SCP-294-AG. Researcher produced requests for cup of Smilodon blood, cup of passenger pigeon blood, and cup of Thomas Jefferson's blood, and received 3 out-of-range errors. I feel like it's interesting that this machine can create abstract concepts, but it can't retrieve, like, Thomas Jefferson's fucking blood. Also, it has enough sense of humor to speak Latin. How about that? Addendum SCP-294-AH. A D-Class personnel with an IQ of 99 and low curiosity scores was given written instructions about what to request. The D-Class personnel produced a request for blood of Canis lupus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as wolf blood. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for saliva of Ecus ferus caballus and received a cup of liquid subsequently identified as horse saliva. The D-Class personnel next produced a request for urine of... I'm sorry, folks, I'm not going to read any more Latin today. The D-Class personnel got koala piss. Is that what you want to hear? The D-Class personnel next produced a request for cerebrospinal fluid of Phobaramus pattersoni and received a cup of liquid currently undergoing analysis. It is to be noted that that animal went extinct during the late Miocene epoch, approximately 8 million years ago. Well, apparently not, because this fucked up vending machine got some of its cerebrospinal fluid. Anyway. SCP-294-AI. Dr. King produced requests for a cup of room temperature superconductor and received a couple apple juice with seeds floating in it. That's pretty funny. Addendum SCP-294-AJ. Dr. Menchu produced requests for cup of D151839's leukemia and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found to contain leukemic blast cells, which were a genetic match to D151839. A second request for cup of D151839's leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error. D151839 was subsequently found to be free of leukemia, however, within 15 days the leukemia had recurred. Other SCP-294 experiments are currently awaiting approval. That's it. Well, I hope that was worth it. You all wasted 15 minutes of my life and yours hearing about a fucking vending machine. Maybe when researcher Slick gets back, she can tell you about more of the experiments. If any of you new recruits need me, tough shit. I don't have office hours. Get out of my sight. This has been Researcher Stedman. Bye, I guess.